The day I realized I could make insurance giants pay for their lies was the day I truly fell in love with being an attorney. My client Mark was a 62-year-old high school teacher who had spent 30 years carefully maintaining his colonial home paired to the one he and his late wife had purchased when they were newlyweds, the house where they'd raised 3 children, the house that burned to the ground in 90 minutes after his heating oil tank exploded while he was at school. When Mark called me, he'd been living in a motel for 4 months. His voice shook as he explained that National Shield Insurance had denied his $1.2 million claim. Their reason, a clause stating they covered damage from heating equipment but not storage equipment. According to them, the tank that exploded wasn't part of the heating system. They're saying I should sue the oil company instead, Mark explained, but the oil company's insurance says it's a manufacturer defect, and the manufacturer went bankrupt last year. Classic insurance tactics. Create a circle of blame until the policyholder gives up. Have you been paying your premiums on time? I asked. 30 years without missing one, he replied. Then let's make them regret teaching you this lesson. Insurance companies count on most people lacking the resources to fight them. They especially love denying claims just high enough to hurt, but just low enough that hiring an attorney seems financially unwise. They've calculated that sweet spot perfectly, except when they meet someone like me who takes cases on contingency. During discovery, I requested all documentation on Mark's claim. Buried in 2,700 pages was the name of their engineering expert, Dr. Raymond Phillips Pernt, who had determined a tank wasn't part of the heating system. His report used impressive technical language about non-integrated peripheral components and secondary containment systems. Something felt off. I ran a background check. Dr. Phillips had a PhD, all right, Pert NSN. He'd worked for National Shield for 7 years. He had 0 engineering credentials. Rather than revealing this immediately, I scheduled a deposition with Brenda Winters, the claims adjuster who denied Mark's claim. Under oath, with cameras rolling, I led her through a series of technical questions about heating systems. I am not an engineer, she kept saying. I relied on our expert's assessment, and who determined that the storage tank wasn't part of the heating system? I asked innocently. Dr. Phillips, he's our engineering expert. And you verified his engineering credentials before denying a $1.2 million claim? Of course, he's been our trusted expert for years. I slid a folder across the table. Could you read Dr. Phillips' educational background from this document? She scanned the page, her face draining of color. Your engineering expert has a PhD in Evan and 0 engineering training. Did you know that when you denied my client's claim, the company's attorney requested a break? When we returned, they offered to settle for the full amount. Not enough, I said. In this state, insurance bad faith adds attorney's fees and punitive damages. 3 weeks later, Mark received a check for $1.2 million for his claim plus $500,000 for my fees and bad faith penalties. He's rebuilding his house now, parent with an electric heating system. What most people don't realize is that insurance companies have calculated exactly how often they can deny valid claims before it becomes unprofitable. They know that for every person who fights back, dozens will give up. The secret to beating them isn't just knowing the law. It's doing the homework they hope you are too overwhelmed to do. It's checking the credentials they hope you'll take at face value. It's asking the one question they pray you won't think to ask. Sometimes justice comes down to simply verifying someone's resume. If you want to know how National Shield changed their claims practices after this case became public, share this video.